The San Diego Padres are now stunningly connected to this ex-slugger who's been in the league for many, many years. Padres we thought were done adding, but now they continue to look deeper as they are now looking at Nelson Cruz. And before we even discuss this, if you guys are yet to hit that subscribe button, I recommend you do. Same thing with that like button. Now let's talk a little bit, probably a lot of bit about Nelson Cruz because the guy's been in the league forever. A stunning tweet today from John Heyman. He had this to say: the Padres are among teams interested in Nelson Cruz. Padres GM AJ Preller and Cruz were together in Texas. Of course we know this, and if we know one thing about AJ Preller, it's this: he loves his Rangers. For whatever reason, he has an obsession with ex-Texas Rangers. When you go down the list, Nomar Mazara, Nick Martinez, Jorge Alfaro, those are a few names that come to my head. There's a lot more than just that. Nelson Cruz is a guy that we thought was probably a Padre last offseason. I remember Kevin Acee was making jokes about it in tweets. Dennis Lin was writing a lot about Nelson Cruz. Now, what did he do last year when we thought we were going to sign him? Well, he didn't do too pretty. Nelson Cruz had a .234 batting average with only 10 home runs, 105 hits, 4 stolen bases. I don't know why that's the most surprising thing ever to me. 313 on base percentage, 337 slug, 651 OPS. Now, this is probably one of the worst years of his career in an aging guy who's 42 years old, going to be 43 by the time the season comes around. If we get him on a minimum deal, I think he's still got a little bit of thunder in his bat. You know, they call him the boomstick for a reason. This guy's a 7-time All-Star, 4-time Silver Slugger, ALCS MVP. He's played for many teams. He's been around the block. He has a lot of experience in baseball, and it's someone that the Padres can add. Now, what is Cruz's ceiling? I don't know, maybe 250, 20 home runs. It's going to be hard to hit home runs at Petco. That marine layer is tough to deal with at night. But he's a big boy, so if he can get behind the ball, he's going to be fine. Now, do I think that he's going to sign for some big contract? I would be surprised if he signs for more than $2 million. I think that this is going to be a guy that the Padres may count on at DH because, let's be honest, they still need a starting pitcher, and the only way they're going to get a starting pitcher is if they trade away Ha-Seong Kim. You can put Matt Carpenter at first base, Jake Cronenworth at second, DH Nelson Cruz. Is it as good of a team as you want? Not necessarily. You can always upgrade at the deadline. But with Johnny Cueto now off the board, adding Nelson Cruz is pretty smart. You get more flexibility in terms of being able to trade Ha-Seong Kim. I know someone said, can Nelson Cruz still play defensively? I mean, we're talking about a senior citizen. This guy's 43 years old by the time the season starts next year. I doubt he can play any right or left field anymore. But DH-wise, he's still pretty solid. Obviously, 2022 is not his year. 2021 was his year, though. He was an all-star in 2021, and he hit a decent amount of home runs. Like, he still is pretty solid. In 2021, he totaled out for about 32 home runs. In 2020, he hit 16 in the 60-game stretch. 2019, he hit 41, 37. I mean, this is a guy that's, for the last decade, from 2009 to 2021, he was consistently having 30 home run seasons, upwards of 44. That's crazy numbers. I'm not saying this guy's going to have his power back. He's still a pretty big guy. I actually ran into him at the winter meetings. Size-wise, he is still there. He is a unit. So maybe he can turn a couple balls around. I don't think he's going to be the Nelson Cruz that we thought we were going to maybe get last offseason. But he can still be a useful piece. He gives us that flexibility, everything the Padres need right now to add more depth pitching-wise, because you're going to have to trade one of Trent Grisham and Ha-Seong Kim to get pitching. I know I see a lot of comments where people get mad about that, but you have to give something to get something. We don't want to trade away Samuel Zavala. We don't want to trade away Jackson Merrill. So what does that leave us with? You have to trade a Major League ready player and a guy that's currently on the Major League roster, and those are the only two options. I think besides that, most of our team is, pretty set in stone. I don't think anyone's going to want a Brandon Dixon or a Jose Azocar for an Edward Cabrera. That doesn't make sense. They want an outfielder. They want a shortstop. That's what the Marlins want. They want to compete. Unfortunately, there's two sides to a trade, and sometimes you have to give up things you don't want to give up, because if it's for the better good, like adding an Edward Cabrera, adding a Tanner Houck, it makes sense because it makes our team better. Yes, we're a good team right now. Yes, we're a top 3 to 5 team in the league, but we still need another starter super badly. So it's very important to add one of these guys. Do I think Nelson Cruz is going to sign with the Padres? Possibly. I think that he's within the budget that we have remaining, so I wouldn't be shocked if he signs with the Padres. I think at this point, that's one of our better options, to be honest, because we don't have a lot more money to spend. Now, it opens up the option, like I keep saying, of making more trades, which is what the Padres need to do because we're trying to stay under the 273 luxury tax. So that's what's really important there. But once again, that is going to wrap up the video. If you're yet to hit that subscribe button, I highly recommend you do so. Same thing with that like button. I'm going to post another video later talking about the news across baseball because we have a lot of news, and I'll see you guys in that video very, very soon. Peace.
Yes. 305 to the 619, baby. Let's go. Let's go, San Diego. Live that shit up, San Diego. Let's fucking go. Woo! It's our fucking house. Hey. It's our house right here, baby. Let's go.